Zuckerberg has said that we really need to be focusing on open source AI because if you can't win the game, you should just change the rules. But more on that in a second. Welcome to Cryptocurrents, the weekly podcast of people working in crypto, blockchain, and fintechs, talking about everything you need to know in technology today. I'm your host, Vince, and today I'm joined by Kale from the trenches.
Yo.
And welcome back to Katya.
Hi, have you missed me?
Terribly. But enough of missing you. It's time to jump right in and hear more from you. We'll talk about Zuckerberg in a second. What I want to start off with is talking about NFTs, baby. NFTs are back. Who knew this? So the reason why NFTs are in the news right now is a NFT launch just hit Robinhood chain. It was the first NFT launch. I mean, it's the first big one, right? And Katya spent all day yesterday doing the exact same thing I was doing and kept thinking it was named Spite Hood. What was it?
Yeah, Spite Hood instead of Sprite Hood, yeah.
Yeah. And so kind of talk to me, guys. Like, Kale, let's start with you. Talk to me about the trenches, because obviously it's a trencher launching this, but it sold out in 42 minutes. So what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are all over the place. So, like, first of all, NFTs are not back, unfortunately.
What? Oh, no.
Yeah. Like, that's like the messaging that they seem to be like pushing, but for sure it's not back. So what happened was, this is the same guy that launched or helped. He's the co-founder of Pudgy Penguins. And so obviously recently, like, Robinhood chain has been becoming popular. It's like the new Solana. It's the new trenches. Everyone's trenching on Robinhood chain. And so because of all of like the newfound excitement on Robinhood chain, this guy, the co-founder of Pudgy Penguins, came out of the darkness and dropped a new project called Sprite Hoods. And people are very split about this because so this guy just has like a very sketchy background. Like basically he got kicked out of the Pudgy Penguins community as the co-founder because he like kept making like huge promises and not delivering anything. He was caught like shilling other NFT projects without disclosing that he was being paid. He's launched multiple projects in the past that have just like left the holders like holding the bag, like down 99%. And
classic
so,
NFT.
Yeah. And so a lot of people are like untrustworthy of him, like because of that to begin with. So all that aside, the NFT project that just dropped, Sprite Hoods, was a 44,000 mint project. And they all minted out within 42 minutes, like you said, but there's only 4K holders. So that means on average, each holder is holding like 10 or 100 NFTs. And on top of that, this guy, well, I forget his name even, but the person that I'm talking about, the guy who launched Sprite Hoods, he owns 440 of the NFTs himself. So that's like 1%, I think. I don't know. I'm like trying to do rough math in my head right now. But anyway, I missed the mint. And I'm not even mad about it. For these things, like, even though I feel like long term, it's like something you want to avoid. If you can get in during the mint, they're normally an easy flip. Like you can buy the mint and then get like an easy 2x, 3x. But I missed the mint, so I'm just gonna like completely
swerve.
Yeah, completely disregard it, pretend it doesn't exist, because I don't think it doesn't have staying power. It's just like a hype thing, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I also agree, like everyone's trying to make it be like, oh, NFTs are back, let's like jump back into NFTs. But I'm like, I think everyone knows a lot more now about NFTs, understands that they are just supposed to be a fun little collectible at the end of the day.
Yeah. And you know what too, like the 4K people that did get to mint, it's probably like people who are heavy into the Pudgy Penguins ecosystem. You know, that's how they knew that this was happening. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like close friends of the founder and like friends of friends. So yeah, I mean, I don't think NFTs are back. The people who are like shouting NFTs are back are probably like that small cohort of people that got to mint, you know?
Or is Justin Bieber or Jake Paul with their Bored Ape that is now worth pennies compared to what they bought it for.
Yeah, those guys too.
Yeah. But what are your thoughts, Katya?
So the guy's name, Kale, is his handle is Ethereum. And his
that guy.
name apparently is Cole Villamane, which looks so much like villain that it's not even funny. So like the entire time I was reading the news yesterday, it was like, for me, it was about a spite token minted by a villain. So like there's a whole narrative going on. Yeah, I mean, it's a money people are now comparing, in light of this and the other meme stuff, like Robinhood chain right now to Solana at some point, where it was like a meme coin central, and I guess there's also parallel to be made with Coinbase and Base chain, because Robinhood is like the serious institution and Robinhood chain is not right now. But yeah, but I was reading those tweets and the criticism of this guy, which I don't know much about this at all, but it seems like it's totally founded. But at the same time, the people who are shouting the most about like how he's not trustworthy and everything are like, "Oh, well, I want the tokens that he put out and essentially, or just abandoned or whatever." Like, these are also bag holders who are like mad about their tokens not being worth what they think it should be worth. But like, whenever I see that, I'm like, do you not know the rules of the game you're playing? These are ultra hyper mega speculative things that are just a roll of the dice, and you know that going in, and being all serious, like, can we trust this person, and investigating him. It's like, you're playing cards. And not even something fancy from a nice movie where some hot semi-intelligent looking actor is playing you. You're just being like, you're just gambling. So I don't know. I have not a lot of sympathy for people who do like all this investigative reporting on people who are minting things. The contract is not even like the code is not visible to the user. The contract of the token is not available. It's just like a complete, I don't
That's
know.
so funny.
Fugazi.
I didn't even think of it like that, because they're so high up the risk curve, like investing in this guy's NFTs. It's like, you have to, first of all, decide that you want to invest in crypto over any other asset, and then into Ethereum over any other crypto, and then into NFTs over anything else on Ethereum, and then this guy's NFTs. Like, yeah.
On a
The fact that
chain
these
that's
guys are
like,
complaining is kind of crazy.
on a chain that's 3 weeks old, from a guy who disappeared and reappeared. There, like, again, there's no contract to read or even look at. There's nothing. And then they're like, oh, this seems like such a scam. Yes, that's what it is. Like, what?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's just, I think we're at that point in crypto where everyone's just kind of desperate for some sort of narrative where we're like, I guess NFTs will be back, but everyone's like, no, but everyone's like, well, let's try. Just because everyone's like, ooh, tokenized equities, with crypto.com just announcing their tokenized equities this morning, but that's not going to make this show. But it's like tokenized equities, stable coins, and that's kind of it. That's kind of the only narrative we have in crypto right now. And that's less interesting, particularly for journalism. So I get why this is getting a lot of play. But yeah, I don't know. But I mean, it also shows that Robinhood is kind of, again, like really good at taking headlines. They are getting a lot of coverage on this, and they're also getting a lot of coverage on our next story, which is tomorrow, the 13th of August. Robinhood will be launching their second venture fund, RV2, which is a fund that is focused specifically on seed rounds, specifically coming out of Y Combinator. So Y Combinator, if you're not familiar, is this little startup incubator that I want to say started in like 2008. Like, it started at like a horrible time when nobody was doing VC money, and they were writing these like small check sizes to these small little investors, and now become like this massive institution in Silicon Valley as kind of a great network and a great fostering of startups. And so, this falls under Robinhood's whole democratizing access. And they're like, this is private equities, seed round stuff. What do you think about this, Katya? Is this indeed democratization of finance, or is this just them being like, we can get some headlines with this vehicle and maybe not go anywhere with it?
I mean, I do tend towards the latter. I'm kind of skeptical about it. And so the difference between the first fund that they launched, RV1, and this RV2, which honestly saying RV kind of makes it sound jank. An RV
Yeah,
fund.
true that. Yep.
So the difference is that the first one it's still private companies, right? But that are like bigger. They're not seed stage, right? So they're later stage. Yeah. And this is very early stage. And my understanding is that this can contribute to a lot of volatility in the price of the fund, of the stock, because no?
Well, it depends. So, like, with this first foray that they're rolling out, they have basically a 2% stake in 80 different companies. So, like, even if, like 5 of these immediately like crash and burn, it's not going to see a lot of like volatility, but that also depends on how much the market is going to price this exposure. So it's hard to say.
Yeah. But I just think it's not the same. It's not, you don't actually own stake in these actual companies. You have exposure. It seems that how any upside and what these companies, they get acquired, they get it's unclear how that will be distributed to the fund holders. And whether they benefit from anything in the price action of the fund. So I just feel like it's a good story. It's a good narrative, but I feel it's not the same as having direct to retail consumer investment into these. It's not like holding the stock itself or holding debt or
private equity in that firm.
Yeah, in that firm. So I think it's mostly the democratic narrative, the Robinhood. That's what it's named for. The Robinhood narrative that you open the access to the little guy. But I don't think it holds water in terms of real access to real early private equity. But I don't understand private equity very, very well, so I might be mistaken on this.
It's funny, when you were talking about the Robin Hood narrative, I just had the Robin Hood scene from Shrek playing in my head. Oh, merry men!
I always default to the Men in Tights movie in my references. Too. Yeah,
that's funny. My default is the Shrek scene as well.
Absolutely. But Kale, talk to me about RV2. Jesus, hard to say.
Ravi. Yeah, so I didn't get to opt in because Robinhood was asking if you want to throw money in a few weeks ago or whatever, and they still ask. I opened Robinhood today and they were like, "You sure you don't want to get in? You still got time to get in?"
Yeah,
and I didn't, but I'm excited to DCA in because there's a few things. Basically, it's all about that asymmetric upside, baby. It's that's just the kind of investor I am. I have a kind of stupid amount of risk tolerance, and and it's as long as you allocate correctly, I'm a fan of this type of investing, especially because there's huge companies that have come out of Y Combinator, Uber came out of exactly
Stripe, I think.
Yeah. There's a couple big companies, and so I'm down to take that bet. Because I'm sure they're going to be investing in more companies too. There's 80 right now, but I'm sure there will be more because a lot of these will fail.
Oh, well, yeah, and Y Combinator produces a new class twice a year, so...
Yeah, so 99% of them aren't going to be in Uber, obviously.
No.
But like I said, I do look for these types of investments where it's even if it's that small percent, it's just allocate correctly, and then it can be a lucrative trade. And then also to touch on Katya's point, she's right, that you probably don't have actual ownership as much as other vehicles of investment. But coming from the trenches on chain, that's super minor for me. I don't really mind that at all because I'm used to trading things that I have no actual ownership of, So it's coming from on chain it's like I'm just trading the speculation wave, and so with that being said, I do think RVII or RV2 or whatever it's supposed to go by, I do think that there's a lot of potential here. And, obviously it's like there's a lot of potential to go wrong too, but
Yeah.
I like it. I'm gonna start DCAing in.
Yeah, for me, like what is interesting to me, and I said this when they launched their first fund, is that I do think there's a nice network effect of like if you are exposing all of your Robinhood users to these companies through this thing, then you've kind of already got some buy-in so that when someone sees this later on, they're like, oh, hey, yeah, I own 2% of that via this RVII. I like that company. I know that company. And there's an interesting retail effect. Even though from what I was reading, Y Combinator typically funds like 80% B2B plays. Like they're not super big on B2C, but that doesn't mean that they don't. And it doesn't mean that those B2B companies won't come up in your life.
Yeah.
And this is something I've talked about before that Sweater Ventures did when they like invested in Graza olive oil back before Graza was a massive company. They literally sent out stuff to I am a sweater, I guess it's called Cashmere now, Sweater Ventures user. Like they sent out emails being like, here's where you can get Graza. Here's where it's being demoed. If you go and like buy it, it is more likely to be stocked in that store. And it was a very interesting like network effect, I thought. I don't know
Yeah,
if
I mean,
Robinhood's going to go the same route, but yeah. Go ahead, Katya.
yeah, I was going to say, aside from the network effect, the other deeper original effect, there's a lot of research in psych which says people, once they claim ownership over something, they will value it higher just because they already own it. Like
Yeah.
there are experiments where like you give someone a pen and now it's their pen and they will want more money for it than like an equivalent object because it's their pen now.
Yeah.
So it's there's a whole effect from, so yeah, I believe that, so that you already own a piece of this, so that you're going to be, aside from the objectively reasonable interest in seeing that thing go up, there's also an added kind of psychological effect of like this is my company now, a piece of it is my company now,
Yeah.
and I am like more interested and more dedicated to the company thriving, even just psychologically.
And even just also like name recognition, right? Like you're just, can you imagine the first people that got cold emails from the business development team at Stripe? Like if someone had like at least heard that name before, they're like, oh, Stripe, that sounds familiar. Let's talk to them. Like I think there's a marketing component that I, for one, I'm going to be interested to watch.
Another thing that, like, Kayla, when you were talking, that I thought about is that it's interesting how much crypto, in the past 10 years, crypto DeFi specifically, has crazily accelerated this tendency towards trading of derivatives of derivatives of derivatives. Like this derivative upon derivative upon, so like perps, like is the biggest thing now. Volumes, I mean, tokenized stocks are getting there, but perps are like out trading everything, and it's a derivative, it's exposure, like you said, Kay. Like I don't care if I own anything, like, and I think just the crypto space has accelerated, even in TradFi, this tendency towards like, who cares about the underlying asset? We're all just trading exposure at this point, and
Yeah. But who's not trading exposure? Anyone that is involved with Eliza Labs? So the problem with crypto is like so frequently you don't hear how this name is said, so you just gotta guess. So it's shutting down, and spoiler alert, they're using the treasury to pay lawyers. Kale, read me in on this.
Yeah, so I thought they were shutting down on first glance, but I think they are like gonna survive somehow, and they just like got hit hard with the lawsuit. But basically the gist is that they were sued by their holders. So Eliza OS was like a token at one point, and a bunch of holders were down like 99 billion %. And and so they
about right.
they sued Eliza OS via Berwick law. And the claims aren't public, so like nobody knows exactly like what they're like Eliza OS is being sued for. But at the end of the day, Eliza OS is paid. They paid a settlement to these users, and so the people who sued ended up with a bag.
A
And
bag. They ended up with it pennies.
Yeah, it's probably like a couple $100. And then Eliza OS though, as of like just yesterday and this morning, they're still on socials posting like nothing happened. Like, go check out our new product. Like, we have this new cool thing, and you can. It's like they just dropped something like this morning, I think, where it's like you connect it to your AI, and it pays you for like shipping AI slop. Is how they're marketing
Gross.
it. Yeah, so like I haven't read into it yet.
But didn't like the founder say it was dead? Or,
That's what I
like,
read.
Yeah, like the founder himself said, like, it's dead. The token is. I don't know about the project.
I think that's what I think he meant the token is dead. I think he was saying the token itself, like,
but not the project.
Yeah. He's trying to like differentiate,
separate the two.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Which is like probably, I don't know if that's even legal, but
I mean, come on, people. It's crypto. Crime is legal right now. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, true.
And it was it one of the like first cryptocurrencies based on AI agents or involving AI agents? Because that's what it seems like, that it was a pioneer in that sense, where it was gonna allow, the token was involved with AI agents, and we talked about AI agents in crypto a bunch of times back then on the show.
Yeah, Eliza OS was for sure one of the first ones in like late 2023, early 2024, when like AI agents were first showing up on Solana and on chain. And also because of who created it, this like Shaw Makes Magic guy, he's pretty well known in the crypto space. I had never heard of him until this whole Eliza thing, well, like a couple years ago when he launched Eliza. But yeah, I never really got into this, so I don't know like the lore behind this guy. But like now that this is coming out and like a bunch of people are talking about it on socials, like people are pretty split. Like I see both perspectives. I see people posting both perspectives of like, a lot of people are complaining about Berwick law and saying that like this is like an invalid lawsuit or shouldn't have happened. They weren't supposed to have been able to sue Eliza or whatever. And then there's a bunch of people also who are like, you guys should have seen this coming. Like, Shaw Makes Magic has been a serial scammer for years. So it's kind of like, yeah, unfortunately, it's another one of those like cold
lay down with dogs and you're gonna get fleas type thing.
Yeah.
Well, he also seemed to say that, like, because that a lot of work was done and the project is worthwhile, but because of the tokenomics and because of people wanting the number to go up, like it all collapsed because the token wasn't performing. And it just kind of made me think of like crypto. One of the things about crypto and internet, Web3, which we don't even say anymore, the
dirty word, Web3.
The dirty word now. But one of the concepts was, and still is, honestly, that you can monetize anything. When you put monetization on crypto rails, it can be seamlessly integrated into everything internet and everything AI now, and everything can be monetized. Incentives, the big philosophical word of crypto, incentives, incentive alignment and all that. But the other side of that is that if you monetize everything, then everything becomes about number go up. Yep. And nobody cares about what the project, nobody really cares about what it does or what it even looks like, if it's art or if it's technology, what's underneath it. It's like, and Ethereum's dilemma for many years and struggle has been about bag holders being like, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? And the Ethereum developers are like, well, we are building out from within and it takes time and whatever. So I think in crypto a lot you get whether or not this creator is honest and genuine in his attempt to make this project survive, but generally that's an applicable theme in crypto. I think that if everything is monetized and everything has a token, then everything becomes about it going up, which is like
a bummer.
Which is a bummer, to put it briefly, a big bummer. Yeah.
I think all of this, it just serves as a reminder that lawyers will always get their lunch because like they
Mhm.
are, walking away with, just like most class action lawsuits, a majority of the funds. But lawyers aren't all bad. So this takes us to our next story that I want to talk about, which is Kalshi being sued by FlightAware. And I love this. I feel like it's the kind of the start of something. So like Kalshi had been using FlightAware's data to validate whether or not flights were late, which of course you could bet on whether a flight was late, which I mean, everyone's like, I'm sure making a lot of money or losing a lot of money on Denver right now. But FlightAware said that they were violating their agreement and didn't endorse this and were stealing their data and using their logo without authorization. And I love this. I love that this just feels like a minor lawsuit on something that is like rudimentary. It's not like whether it's legal and causing problem. It's like, hey, you're using our brand, you're using our data. This is a problem. And now I love to see this. But talk to me about this, guys. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with you. I love to see that. Well, my feelings about prediction markets generally are no secret to anyone who watches the show or anyone who has spoken to me for 5 minutes on crypto. But yeah, like
Anyone that
because
speaks to you, the waiter's like, what would you like for dinner? And you're like, prediction markets are stupid.
correct. That's about how it goes. Yeah, because essentially they're saying like we don't have a contract and you're using, and they're like, oh well, I am very irritated with prediction markets kind of being like it's also like we've been talking about cash grabs. It's also a cash grab. We
Yeah.
don't want to pay for this. We don't want to pay for licenses. We don't want to pay for Oracle contracts. But we are empowering the people to become rich. That's what we are here for. We're doing a public good service, and we don't want to actually pay any of the resources and partnerships that we are actually using, and we don't want to pay for it. So that just makes me want to slap the shit out of Kalshi
Everyone involved.
everyone involved. Yeah, and if someone actually gets to slap the shit out of them, I am there in the first row with popcorn. So yeah, I agree.
I also just love it because, like, FlightAware, have you guys ever used FlightAware? It just shows you, like, where planes are delaying, and it gives you, like, a pain metric. And so, like, as someone that has missed flights and had, like, flights delayed, I've used it quite a lot. And it's a janky website. It feels very, like, early 2000s, late
Wait.
90s.
Is that the one you can like look up your flight and like see exactly where the plane is as you fly?
Yeah, I think it can, yeah. That's part of it.
I might have used that before. I literally like when I'm tracking like where my sister is in the air and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I share that same sentiment as Katya. It is crazy that like prediction markets, they make so much money, dude. Like, have we seen any use case that makes as much money as prediction markets within the last couple years?
I mean, in Robinhood's earnings, they reported that their prediction markets made, I think, more money than any other vertical combined. Something like that. It was like insane.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Not only how much money prediction markets make, but then like Katya, you knocked something loose in my head. The fact that they make this much money and then they like are still trying to get around everything. Like they don't want to pay for this, they don't want to pay for that, they don't want to get that license, they want to do this under the table. It's like, yeah, it's very annoying.
I wonder if it's because like to be in the mindset of like prediction markets are good, I want to work at this company. Like that's maybe part of the mindset is like, how can we get away with as much stuff as possible?
I mean, that's a good point. That kind of tracks.
I get it. Obviously, I don't think any of us are going to be working at any of these anytime soon, especially if they ever do their due diligence on us and find this show.
100%, dude. Yeah.
So let's talk some more shit to round out this show and talk about everyone's favorite lizard human, and that is Mark Zuckerberg, who is in the news talking about how AI should be open source, and it's important for this to do this. And it's really funny for me because, like, obviously I think Meta AI is some of the most brain dead AI out there. Like, it's absolutely no bueno. But it's just so funny because I'm rewatching the show Silicon Valley on HBO, and there is a moment where one of the CEOs like loses his company and like can't work in tech anymore, and he's like, fine, I'm going to speak out against tech and talk about the ethics of tech. I'm going to make a thing called Tethics. And this just feels like that series of episodes where Zuckerberg was like, man, my AI sucks. We all do. What do you guys? Make it open source so I can see this. Like, it's crazy pants to me. Like, guys, talk to me about this. What are your thoughts?
That totally tracks. Because I mean, the whole like OpenAI was supposed to be open sourced to begin with, and then I don't know why they went closed source. I'm assuming because they were making like so much money. They're like, yeah, no,
money. It's always the answer is always money.
I don't think they're making money. I think they're like, oh, we can make a lot of money.
Potential.
But yeah, like just going over his like whole open source manifesto thing or whatever you want to call it. Like,
did you read the whole thing?
No. Hell no.
I was just wondering because like I had ambitions to do so, but it's like 6,500 words, and I was like,
no, ditto. But I did have an AI summarize it for me, of course. 2026, baby.
Which AI?
Oh, Claude.
Oh, not Meta. Oh, that's crazy.
I know, right? But so yeah, like I did think it was cool that he like there were a lot of parallels to like self-custody in there. Because basically the open source argument, right? What he's arguing for is that like having the power decentralized, like for everybody distributed with everybody is much better in general for society than like having it concentrated with just one person. So like, yeah, I mean, obviously, generally, I agree with that. You guys probably agree with that. It's like a very common take in our industry. But yeah, like you said, Vince, this kind of feels like not real. It's like, what is his actual motivations here? It feels like he's like behind and he's like trying to become relevant somehow because I don't know. I don't trust that he cares about open source AI.
No. Definitely not. And like, certainly Facebook, Meta as a company doesn't either. I remember, I want to say like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, I've got in a full on argument with someone on Reddit. And I'm like, Facebook is full of bots. Why would any marketer spend money there? And they're like, no, we don't have any bots on Facebook. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, Facebook is like 90% bots.
It's crazy. I tried it out today just to like see, and it's slop everywhere. It's bonkers, dude.
Twitter was pretty bad too a couple years ago, but I think they've been working on it, and it's been improving a little bit.
I do like that, and we didn't talk about this. Twitter rescinded their creator program and are relaunching it because they're like, oh no, we're rewarding all this AI slop behavior.
Yeah.
But Katya, I didn't hear your thoughts on open AI or open source AI and Zuckerberg's hot take on it.
Well, I also didn't read the whole thing, but I didn't do an AI summary. I read a bunch of coverage from, news sources, which probably in turn did AI summaries and wrote coverage on them because that's the integrity of the work that we see today. But nobody read the whole thing is probably true, except for Claude and ChatGPT. But it seems to me that there's also maybe some inconsistencies in the sense that like he argues that for open source AI that it should that nobody should control the whole thing, which, as you say, Kale, we agree with a priori because we are in the space where we value decentralization and open source and self-custody. And he talks about that, but then he talks about how export restrictions on chips to China is a good idea and we should do more of that because that will make the US more competitive. And I'm like, but if you're arguing for open source, it's open source to everyone, including China.
Source the world except China.
Yeah, but if you want to kind of place restrictions against China, then we probably shouldn't open source our AI because then, again, it's open source to China as well. So kind of like, I felt like there was contradictions there and people have felt that there was also other contradictions and that he talks glowingly about how AI will not take away jobs, but add jobs and make people just open up possibilities to people that they haven't had before. And this is the person who gave us Facebook and who just fired 8,000 people because of AI. So there's so much in there that kind of makes you go like,
Suck
Wait
it
a
in,
second.
take it
yeah,
away.
yeah. So so I think it's entirely like, even as this is a self-serving document, I feel like it could have been done better. Maybe it was done by Meta AI. And,
Probably.
published. So yeah, I am not very impressed. I think it's just kind of like one of those, as you said, they're not catching up and they want to kind of be like, complain that it's not fair
Yeah.
that Anthropic and OpenAI are guarding their secrets so closely.
Right?
I
Like,
don't know.
there's no way he actually cares about open source.
No. But I also think it's funny how, like, speaking, if I zoom out on AI, I do love that Apple straight up has just kind of very quietly murdered their AI and are like, oh, well, we're going to just use other companies' AI.
Yeah, I saw a post about that just yesterday, and that's like such a good strategy, honestly. Like, because
Honestly, yeah.
Apple has all the hardware, like they have the monopoly on the hardware. Like they just need to wait until one of the LLM companies wins, and then they just take a wrapper and like they
Yeah.
can literally just take Claude and like change the name internally and be like, this is actually Apple AI now. This is Apple
Yeah.
Intelligence.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it shows you how strong their hardware component is to their business because, like,
Yeah.
obviously Facebook is nothing but software and those stupid pedophile glasses that they use to creep on people.
Yeah, dude, they're trying so hard to market those. It's crazy.
Dude, it's
I mean,
absolutely
we're all
insane.
running the AI chats and agents on Apple hardware and going to continue to do so. So, like,
Speak for
they don't
yourself.
need.
Mine's Windows.
And you complain about it every day.
That's right. But you know what I don't complain about? This podcast. Thank you, dear listener, for joining us. We hope you feel smarter about everything we've talked about today. You should. And we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat place. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.